Morning. I just wanted to share this little clip about stress, and I guess I'm gonna just start with the bad news. There is no effective system for dealing with stress. There's no like how to. I'm um, I'm sorry if you've had something like you've worked through before that has helped for a bit, but I'm sure it didn't bring it wasn't effective all the time, and that's because stress isn't real. So it's like saying, oh, can you tell me how to get this unicorn out of my garden? There's no practical, real, step-by-step process that will help me get that unicorn out of my garden, because it's not real. I can make something up, but I can't practically apply it and have it go. And when I say it's made up, I don't mean I know that, or in fact I've experienced having an extremely busy workload. I've experienced having a workload that requires completing in a short timeline. I've experienced exams, job interviews. We're actually planning for a wedding now. Obviously house move. I'm a mum. At one point I wasn't, and then I was. So I've experienced all of a sudden becoming responsible for children, and I'm not denying that people can experience stress. They can, but what I'm saying is it it doesn't come from those experiences. There's no such thing as a stressful circumstance. If there was, then those circumstances would stress you out all the time. And I imagine that there are times when you can deal with them without thinking very much. When you get out of bed on the right side and everything goes to plan, and you don't worry and get anxious about them. And I imagine there are times when you do. And also, like different things, different people will find different things stressful. Like, if exams in themselves were stressful, everybody would get stressed by them. And that's not the case. Some people go in and they really don't have too much thinking about them. They're just happy to see how they get on, and generally probably end up doing better because of it. So, and we all know this. We all know this deep down. You know this. You've experienced this. That it's not so much what's going on. In fact, it's never what's going on. It's how you are thinking about it, how you are perceiving it. And just to give some really quick examples of that, so as a new mum, no, just one quick example. Like, I always have a pile of like clothes. There's 5 of us in the house. I can't get rid of them. You know, like if I do, it just miraculously appears again. It's like a never-ending conveyor belt. Now, for some people, that would be extremely stressful, like how the house looks, where everything is, or isn't. Some people would find some people wouldn't be able to cope with that. They'd have a lot of thinking about it. It would need doing before anything else. It would be on their mind a lot. For me, it's not. For Matt, it is more so. And just little things like that, like the wedding. Well, like we're getting married in Florida, we're having a lovely party when we get back. I've invited all the people that like I would love to join us. What more is necessary in that? And I know that people can think about every tiny detail, and if something's not quite right, can get upset about that. But at the end of the day, it's I choose not to think about that too much, and that's fine. So okay. So when I first realised this, that it wasn't it wasn't the circumstances, but it was how I was thinking about them. I used to think that meant I had to get better thinking. So like positive thinking, think something different. Now, if you've ever tried this, if you've ever so I used to smoke. I also at one point wanted to change my diet and cut out things that I didn't want. And if you've ever gone through that, it's really funny because like you'll go to bed really like wanting to stop eating, I don't know, chocolate bars or stop smoking cigarettes. Like you will really want that, and then in the morning when you wake up you'll go, actually, do you know what, I'll start tomorrow because right now I really want a Snickers or a cigarette. Now, no amount of positive thinking or repetitive thinking is going to talk you out of that. It's not like you want what you want, you think what you think, and trying to change that by more thought can just make you want it more. It's anyone that's been in that situation will know that you just get tangled in that, and there's more frustration, and it's, yeah, it doesn't lead anywhere. And then, like, as I started to understand it more, and really see that and get more, just more of a feel that it wasn't what was going around me. Other people weren't upset like that. I wasn't always upset and stressed by that. I started to think that meant I could just ignore it. So to give like a quick example, like I've started my own business. I coach, but sometimes I do. I run walks, weekend walks, and sometimes I'll speak at events and run workshops and everything. And when I was first starting, on the run up to it, and in fact sometimes still on the run up to things, I would start to get really nervous and scared and wonder if it was all going to be okay, how good it, whether I was going to get everything across, whether I like prepared right. I'd have a lot of like stressful, like fearful thinking running up to it. Now, because I knew that how I felt had nothing to do with the event and how well I was going to do, it had nothing to do with how good I was going to be or what I knew. I knew it was, or I thought I knew, or I did. Like I had an inkling that it was all coming from my thinking. What I used to do was just ignore it and go ahead anyway. So I'd be like, yeah, I feel stressed. I know it's coming from my thinking. I'll just ignore it and I'll carry on. And one day, my coach, my trainer, my mentor said something like, once you realise that it's not what's happening outside, it's how you perceive it, then you'll never be, you just won't be scared by things. And I was like, I've not experienced that. Like, I just thought like you press on regardless, but that's true. It like the more you see it, the more you realise that what's going on right in front of you cannot make you feel anything at all. It's all the story that you're running inside your head, and the more you see that, the more you realise it's not true. It's not true, and you don't have to do that. So, as a really quick example, over the weekend, I had to go down to Wellingborough to the Juice Academy. It was brilliant, but I set off on Saturday evening and plugged it into the sat nav. And when I arrived, and when the sat nav said you have reached your destination, where I was on this pitch black country lane, single track, in the middle of nowhere with hardly any petrol. I couldn't see any street signs. I didn't have a paper map in my car. I had no idea where I was. Now, in that moment, some things flashed in my mind. One of them was, oh my God, like, Matt's deliberately sent me to the middle of nowhere because I didn't do it myself. Like, why would he do that? Why would he do that to me? Because people do the craziest things when you have the craziest thinking. Yeah. And so, like, I could feel myself getting angry with that. I just wanted to phone him up and shout, what have you done? And the second thing was like, oh my God, I'm in the middle of nowhere. I'm not going to get to where I want to be on time. I'm not going to find my hotel. I'm going to sleep out. It's going to be freezing. I'm going to be stuck here. And I started to feel scared. And then I realised that, like, oh, that's not going to help. Actually, like, if the worst came to the worst, I could walk. I like walking. Okay, it's pitch black and I might have to go slow, but like eventually I am going to bump into somebody or something that's going to help. And also I could just drive until I ran out of petrol and try and, first of all, like, get closer to, like, civilization. And so the thought, the fearful thoughts, the angry thoughts that had started to bubble up, you know, I just kind of was like, well, yeah, you know, there might come a time to panic, and I'll grab you then. But right now, like, let's go on with Plan B. And I quickly found a petrol station, and then found my way to where I was going, which was only actually about a 5-minute drive if I'd gone straight to it. But I saw in that how easily that could have become stressful and fearful, if I and upsetting if I'd carried on with that train of thought. And it was only like, it was the fact that I knew it wasn't the situation. You know, like, I could deal with the situation. It was just how I was thinking about it that enabled me in that moment when I saw it to just forget about that for the time being. So yeah, so that's a bit longer than I expected to go on, and but I hope you found something useful in it. I hope there was something that just that made sense to you, and I'd really encourage, if you experience stress today, or like in the next couple of days, I'd really encourage you just to look at that, and wonder what is it that's like, well, what is it that's causing this? And just look. You don't have to have an answer. Just notice. and see if anything looks different there. And I'd love to hear your comments, and if you want to